Broadcasting live from the mixed-up world of Hyrule, this is the Link to the Past Randomizer Tournament Qualifiers 2021. Hello, everybody. My name is Dr. Bobtastic. Joining me today on commentary is Drosy. Drosy, how you doing?
I am doing great. I am psyched up for this qualifier number 4. What are you thinking of our two lovely runners here?
Well, I have always thought highly of both of these two runners, P-Train and Jet, and they have done a thorough job of mopping the floor with me on a regular occurrence. I am ready to see it happen today. These two runners, P-Train and Jet, are only two of the 117 runners that we have signed up for this particular qualifier. It's an absurd number of runners today.
And yet not as absurd as that first race, which was over 150, so it's calming down. We might get down to, a nice even 100 at some point.
Yep. And of course, if you are interested in joining this tournament, there is still time for you. If you are interested in doing this, the good old tournament qualifiers will be going on for the next couple of weeks, and if you can get 5 of them in, that will get you on your way toward qualifying for this tournament.
Yeah, this is only number 4 out of 16, so there are 12 more. You got plenty of time to get 5 in if you want to join the tournament.
Mm-hmm.
But speaking of tournaments, just to particularly highlight these runners, Jet is in fact our reigning champion from the last tournament, and P-Train is no slouch either. He was a quarterfinalist.
Yeah, I mean, it has been a while since that tournament happened, so I didn't even remember that. But yeah, Jet was definitely the winner, now that I recall. 300 rupees in the house from the get-go here.
Looks like Link is really making good financial security plans.
Yep, that is one of the general advice they tend to give. Make sure to hoard a bunch of money in a chest right near the door of your house, which is not locked, by the way. Just make sure that your money's right there. And we're starting with a good old-fashioned sword here. That is not guaranteed in this particular flag set, but it is a welcome addition to these runners' arsenals. And hello!
Wow. Yeah, I don't think any of our runners are going to be unhappy to see that sword.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I bet Link just, bought up GameStop and then dumped it when it hit the top. That's just what happened here.
But as far as the rupee count, we have 5 chests in the whole game containing 300 rupees, and you just saw 2 of them in the first 2 chests we opened.
Mm-hmm. Pretty rare occurrence there. And not only did we get those 600 rupees, but again, 600 is, as they say, greater than 500, which is in fact the amount you need to get the Zora item. So that is something we may see very quickly.
Yeah, though we would still need a boot or flippers to put it in logic, but I don't think it would prevent anyone from fake flippering. A glove or flippers, but I don't think it would prevent anyone from fake flippering over there and doing it as a de facto Sphere 1 check.
Yeah, Bottle Vendor and Zora. That's a real thing.
It would be funny if the Bottle Vendor also has 300.
Yeah, that's the financial decision. I'm not sure the Bottle Vendor would be doing particularly good financial work there. That's not really how commerce is supposed to work. But sure. Now, another thing these runners will be looking for are explosives here in the escape, as there is that cache of 3 treasure chests in the back they'll want to try to get to. Sorry, I interrupted you.
Yeah, no, I was thinking the same thing. I was just, there we go.
Speaking of!
Moot point. I was going to say, had you been paying attention to prize packs, but we don't care.
Bombs in Zelda's cell. And so explosives are a go. Now, our runners are basically frame for frame walking out of this dungeon at the same time. Maybe a few frames separating them here and there. But it is a very, very close run here.
Just shows how good both of their executions are, that they can match each other that well.
What P-Train did there is pretty impressive. So, and I never even thought of this, but holding against that wall, heading to the right, he actually made sure to face up the whole time. And holding up is going to make your first movement pixel left, so you can sort of wall pump there. It's ridiculous.
That is a whole level beyond anything I'd ever think of. And he's now like half a Link body ahead of Jet.
Yeah, basically. So just a few little optimizations here and there. It's absurd how much movement tech there is in this game. And additional explosives here in the Dark Cross. So if for some reason you skip Zelda's Cell, which I don't know who would ever do that, I don't know what you're talking about, you could pick some up there. And another bomb here on the first rat. So there's bombs all over the place.
The nice thing here is even if we don't get a single bomb in Kakariko, we now know we can do that and bomb everything we need to there.
Mm-hmm. All right, so I don't believe we've seen the map yet. We got Quake and a big heart.
It also, the extra bombs give the runners this luxury. Oh, Jet isn't doing it. P-Train's like, I can expend a bomb and not have to double back.
Sure can. And yeah, P-Train actually took the time to check his inventory to make sure that he hadn't gotten the map there. So he will not be opening this chest because the map is the last thing available here in Escape. Jet hopefully will also just know it, but we'll see. Yep, both runners skipping the chest, as you should.
And now the only question is, will either of them go up to do Lumberjack just to see what's there, or are they going to wait until they have boots?
Well, if anybody's going to do it, it's Jet, and it's not Jet. So
nope. So they'll do a tree pull in the Lost Woods rather than on the way to Lumberjack.
Yep. Those of you who don't know, tree pulls activate when you kill some number of enemies. Any number for Tier 1, 4 or more having taken damage for Tier 2, and 4 or more having not taken damage for Tier 3. And those items are all randomized. So I'm assuming that was Tier 2.
I'm pretty sure it's Tier 3. I don't... Oh, no, Jet took damage at some point. I don't know if he's defeated 4 since he took damage. I was thinking it was a vanilla Tier 3.
Nah, it's Tier 2 that gives you the Tier 3 items. So that's much better. All right, both runners heading into Kakariko, ready to explore the veritable treasure trove that is Blind's Hut and the well. Yeah, I know both runners had taken damage at some point.
Yeah, and we've got a minimum of 13 chests to open right here in the village. Hey, more bombs!
And in case you were worried about running out of money, there's a little more. Right now we've got enough for Bottle Vendor, Zora, and, like, getting into Pod.
I mean, Link might as well open a 401k at the Ganon Savings Bank, you know?
Yeah, unfortunately, I think the Ganon stock is about to fall here in a couple of hours.
He's got money to burn anyway.
All right, so into the well. Just a piece of heart to start off with and some arrows, so nothing.
Hey, that was a map check on Jet's side. It looked like a 5-6 crystalline desert and regular crystals in Eastern and Hera.
Aha. I did not see that at all, so good spot.
This seed is all about money and bombs so far.
And thus far, no bottles, so the sick kid will remain a mystery for now. Though, you know, if the bot from the ALTTPR ladder had anything to say, they'd probably chime in and say they're not sick, they're lazy.
Who?
Exactly. Oh, no.
Oh, well, there you go.
Okay, I need to just start mentioning things and they'll show up. That's what's happening.
Now, the interesting question, with Kakariko being so dry, do you just blind check the race game?
I do. In this case, absolutely.
Especially with a sword.
Yeah, I have a minimum threshold for progression items at which I will just YOLO the race game.
Yeah, with this many bombs, I definitely would. Whoa, hookshot on library.
Well, this is the second seed in a row I've seen with that. Anybody who joined in on the little race we did before this, most of which are now in racing in this particular qualifier, saw that. So they're going to get a kick out of that, I'll tell you that for sure.
Was that the daily tonight?
No, it was the Crystal Company thing that people do.
Oh.
But yeah, it was ridiculous.
That's impressive that the race game was a bust too. And
yeah, but we did see the hook shot, so there is the yeah. And Jet actually just made up a bunch of time doing that. So now they're back up in sync here.
And we gotta find something somewhere.
Yeah, I imagine Mini Moldorm Cave will have something to say about that, though we could see something slightly earlier, as there's another item here at the dam.
Yeah, but we are running out of Sphere 1 checks otherwise, because after Mini Moldorm, there's Ice Rod, Saha's Closet, whatever's logically accessible in Eastern, and then a kind of remote spot that we probably don't want to check.
I don't know what you're talking about. Doesn't exist.
The one that P-Train's
The one that P-Train is beelining for. Wow. There's a...
So we have actual divergence.
Yeah. Sometimes you want to go for the off the wall play here. And I imagine P-Train will go right to Mini Moldorm Cave after this. And I think if you're going to check a Guinness Cave early, this is the time to do it, right after Dam.
It makes sense. I mean, it's a gutsy play. And in 107... Whoa, there's... Well, the Mini Moldorm Cave check is certainly useful, and it would have gotten P-Train over to Desert a whole lot faster.
Yep.
But what can you do?
Jet is making the heads-up play and saving and quitting out of Mini Moldorm Cave so he can go activate that flute, and then if he wants to, he can just flute right over to 8 to get to Ice Rod Cave right back where he was.
Yeah, so unfortunately this will cost P-Train a bit of time. But it will also make it a lot faster for our runners to get around the world.
And as Jet approaches, we'll get to say hi to everybody's favorite feathered friend, the Swag Duck. As he comes out of the good old statue here, P-Train will be picking up that flute momentarily. Ooh, B-strats.
Nice.
It's like, and I could have used that yesterday.
You know, with Jet being right by the bottle vendor, you can also sell the good bee to the bottle vendor, but given how much money these runners have, I don't think they really considered that.
I don't think it was good, actually.
Oh, it was just a regular one, but it was that
Yeah.
good at attacking the mini Moldorms?
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't... The regular ones will get, 2 or 3 good hits in. I could be making that up. Maybe it was just, like, the frame rate I'm seeing, but I didn't see any flashing or sparkles. So there's a mushroom in the back of Sahasrah's closet, so that is an interesting thing to look at. Who knows? Jet might flute to 2 and see what it is.
Yeah, because at this point we have Ice Rod Cave, and we have whatever we can do here in Eastern, and Jet's gonna do that last option.
All right, and the duck is loose on P-Train's screen as well. We can see where he takes that after this. Over to Ice Rod Cave. Just, a minor interruption in the trip.
I'm guessing he'll try a fake flipper, though, if he's thinking along these lines.
It is entirely possible. Jet, however, is riding the Eastern train all the way inside, finding a compass in the first chest, so nothing in the 3 items yet. A boomerang, it looked like, in Ice Rod Cave.
But was the compass graceful? The name of the race room, for those of you who aren't aware tonight, is Graceful Compass.
Right. It's like, I have that open, but I didn't see it. I was just like, oh, right. It's like, that is a reference I'm not catching. Right. Oh, hello! Jet finds the boots in Eastern. That is going to unlock the hookshot. Shout-outs to boots that are locking the hookshot in a chest you'd really rather have the hookshot to get to.
But that combined with the fluke gives us East Death Mountain.
It sure does. Looks like your green pendant's in Swamp. I don't know if Jet checked that.
Don't think he did.
So that's, kind of a little bit annoying, given that you now know where the hookshot is. Oh, and
no.
P-Train's bailing.
He's going to follow that mushroom. Hopefully he'll go back to Eastern if the mushroom's nothing.
And mushroom is just a piece of heart. And P-Train is going to go ahead and purchase a blue potion. So, pretty interesting play there. Where's he going to go from here? Is it back to 5? No, he's going straight to 1. Looks like he's going to rescue the old man and perhaps check the other West Death Mountain check that he can reach at the moment.
It's reasonable. He's just going to be funneled right over back to here after he goes into Eastern, unless something shows up in one of these 2 checks.
And it looks like the third and final item is in fact on the boss of Eastern. So Jet will have to come back for that. Gonna have to come back for the crystal anyway.
So now we do Bonk Rocks, and I bet Jet will check Lumberjack now that he has the boots.
Old man also giving away his life savings. Holy crud, it's a cane.
Nope, still no Lumberjack check.
But yeah, King of Samaria there on Bonk Rocks all day long. And is that the fire rod or the ice rod? I didn't see.
I think it was fire, but I'll wait till it comes around on the restream to confirm. Yeah, definitely fire.
All right, so P-Train sees the fire rod on top of Spectacle Rock, and I imagine Jet will see it soon as well, because he's headed directly to the mountain after picking up that hook shot. So yeah, P-Train will probably be fluting to 5 here. Can't think of any other place he'd go, except for maybe fake flippering.
Yeah, I'm a bit surprised Jet's still skipping Lumberjack. I guess he just doesn't want to check it unless Ag is in logic.
Oh, P-Train with the swag boomerang. Just grabbing himself a little pet bomb to follow him for a minute there. All right, so Jet making use of those boots to get up the mountain in a dang hurry. Good old-fashioned hook speed.
So, Jet didn't turn in the mushroom, did he?
I don't believe that he did.
So that means fake powder could be a thing later in the game, depending how this all goes.
Absolutely. Absolutely could. All right, so P-Train has acquired the compass. We'll be acquiring the boots next, and we'll see where he goes from here. Once again, welcome to all of you joining in this, the 4th qualifier of the new season, new tournament season. Simplified things a bit since the last time. This is just going to be standard mode, except it's in hard difficulty, hard item pool, rather. So essentially that just means you're not going to see Mirror Shield, you're only going to see up to 14 hearts, and you're never going to see a male upgrade, which makes me extremely sad.
I miss male upgrades too.
Oh, hammer time!
What we are seeing is 2/3 of our Dark World access in a single room in Paradox Cave.
The glove was in there as well, on the left side. So on opposite sides of that, Jet actually falling down, trying to do this bomb jump. So the Jet's kind of doing an old-fashioned method here that I learned the other day, it's actually much easier to do that starting by trying to line yourself up on the bottom and then moving to the left, because it's almost impossible to fall off doing that, because you can, as soon as you start like jiggling, you'll be fine. Hey, did you know that there's another rod just kind of sitting out in the open that you need the mirror to get to?
So both of our rods are mirror locked, you're saying?
They sure are.
So even with Swamp being a pendant, it is highly likely the mirror is required.
Yeah, the only way that it's not required, like logically, is if both Skull Woods and Turtle Rock are pendants, and then the big key to Ganon's Tower is not anywhere on the right-hand side.
Wow, this is surprising. Jet, even with the boots and the hook shot, is not bothering with Harapot clip.
Interesting.
I would have thought of him as someone who, like, using hook speed can do it in his sleep, but maybe he just isn't feeling it tonight.
For some reason, I just haven't ever been able to get the hook speed thing working. I always have to bomb it. But you know what? Oh!
Vanilla!
Literal, actual vanilla moon pearl, everybody. And P-Train has now checked the lumberjack tree, which does make some sense given that he has located the boots.
So we can definitively say this is not an Agaseed.
Pretty much, yeah. And by pretty much, I mean, yeah. Yeah, there will be absolutely no reason to do AGA 1.
So I'm betting Jet does Hype Cave next, just a hunch.
That is entirely possible. I think, I mean, maybe Spiral Cave? Because I don't think he's done that. Okay.
Yeah, Spiral Cave would have been a good move, but we were both wrong. No Spiral Cave, no Hype Cave. He is going for Cack Portal.
Yep. West Dark World is always pretty lucrative.
And with the hammer, we know Thieves Town is full clearable.
Mm-hmm. So that's a definite plus. It'd be a pretty reasonable idea, I think, to check the map the second you get here.
No, there we go.
Okay, so we do in fact require both of those rods today.
And Thieves Town is a pendant for all that, so who knows how thorough we're going to be in here. Skull Woods here, which Jet's about to go into, is our other 5-6, and Misery Mire is our remaining pendant.
All right, so Jet going with sort of an older strategy here in Skull Woods. I guess it's a little better since the key situation changed, and oh my goodness.
Well, that just put 2 crystals in logic. That
sure
bow
did.
gives us Eastern and Pod.
Well, I mean, in logic, for some value of the words in logic, you technically need a lamp or some sort of... Yeah.
These runners have probably forgotten what the lamp is.
Yeah. Ain't nobody need that. So yeah, that's the main problem I had with the way Jet handled Skull Woods there, is he was forced to save and quit out because he fell in that hole without a key.
And he is going right for Pod.
Yeah, with that bow, why not?
And P-Train's having a bit more trouble with the hook speed Harapok clip, so maybe Jet made the right decision. But there goes P-Train.
Yeah, like I said, it's impossible. I don't know how anybody does it. P-Train picking up the actual Vanilla Moon Pearl and heading right upstairs.
Yeah, that being the second item, he just skips the compass chest.
Yeah, I was about to question why he decided to go for the big chest first and then come back, and then I realized it's because of the timing on the fireball. Because he knows it that well. He knows he can get across, grab the item, bonk back without getting hit by the fireball, but only just. Like, he was pretty close to getting hit.
He bonks right over that fireball.
A very quick fight on Moldorm from P-Train with that hammer.
But it's just amazing, these sorts of optimizations that runners at this level make. And P-Train is doing Spiral Cave, so we'll find out what Jet orphaned here.
We'll see if it's a big deal.
So meanwhile, I can't believe we're talking about no mode, but potentially we just need the mitts and the mirror for no mode. I mean, logically we need the flippers and the lamp, but
There is that, yeah. And just a good old green rupee from Spiral Cave, so yeah, P-Train not really needing to do that, but he is gonna flute away, and he is also heading to West Dark World. So we'll see if he gets the bow out of Skull Woods. Some runners tend to avoid Skull Woods when it's when they're not able to clear it, especially when they know where the fire rod is. But you never know. If the mirror's in there, you're gonna have to do it anyway, right?
Yeah, and that is a slightly unfortunate big key placement in pod, because it means that Jet's gonna have to. He couldn't hammer yump his first time through. He's gonna have to go around and then death warp.
Well, unless the mirror's in the big chest or something. All right, so
a little bit puzzled, like, that we knew that was a small key, and if Jet's gonna be death warping, assuming the mirror doesn't suddenly show up right here in the big chest or the dark maze.
So I'm not entirely certain that he did know that, mainly because I don't think he's cleared out the front, like the Stolfos basement chest. Like, I think he's been trying to very efficiently route without the mirror, and...
Okay, so there's an off chance that there were 5 keys in front, is what you're saying.
Yeah. Didn't check big key or Stolfos chest. Yeah, that's what I thought.
And P-Train doing the same drop down the Jet did.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of that, to be honest. But again, these runners are better than me, so what the heck do I know what I'm talking about?
Well, P-Train stole a key first.
Oh, okay. Right, okay, that makes sense then. Yeah, if you have the key, absolutely fall there. That is pretty much the objectively correct move.
And now he'll be able to open the big chest too, and we'll find out what Jet left in there.
Personally, I like to gamble on there being a key in that chest that P-Train just opened. And oh boy, we doing hover
just because.
Why the heck not? I'm not sure he saved any time over the bomb jump there, but you know what? Why not?
Yeah, and since he already had the hook shot out, I'm not sure bonking back across the gap saved any time over hook shotting across it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh!
What was
so
that?
That was the mitts on bumper ledge, so I guess the cape is going to be required now.
Well then. So we've just sort of delayed our no mode a little bit here. Alright, P-Train is in the Village of Outcasts. Jet is trying to make his way through the dark rooms of Pod on the way to Helmasaur, and he has sort of ended up in a unfortunate situation with the turtles. He's down to 1 heart, no hearts.
Yeah, that is really rough if you don't have the fire rod and or Bombos or Ether. Because with either of the other 2 medallions, you could start flipping turtles and then just zap them with the medallion, but he's out of there.
Yeah, the turtle room is pretty gross, and I'm not a huge fan.
Now let's see. Oh, there's one of our mail upgrades.
In memory of the mail upgrades, this is dedicated to it's brought to you.
So can we call that French vanilla myths, sort of, kind of?
Kind of, sort of, in a way. French vanilla mitt access.
So a dip into Thieves Town is absolutely required. We've already gotten 2 items. One of these remaining 2 in front has to be the big key. I would be surprised if P-Train goes to the back.
Mail fraud. Good job. Good job, Ben. That's the best thing I've heard all day. Looks like P-Train appears to be taking a death. I was like, oh right, he doesn't have the mirror.
I mean, that seems reasonable to me. Go get those mitts. Just made sense in case there was a 3rd item in the front.
I think go get the mitts, go get the fire and ice rods.
Well, we still kind of need the mirror for that.
Oh, wait, yeah. Why did I think that the mitts were the mirror? What is wrong with my head?
They both begin MI with
Yeah,
a double letter.
That'll work. We can pretend I have a brain.
And here's our catfish check from Jet.
And just a piece of heart, so...
I love that little swag move of removing the cape while you're still on the bumper so you get a little boost out of the bumper.
Mm-hmm. It is absolutely great and absolutely free to pull off. It's not difficult.
So Jet's now gonna give us our look at Hype Cave as we are effectively a mirror from no mode.
You know what feels real good?
What?
Not going to swamp.
Oh yes, that does feel good. Hey, but there's a
there's a
quest. There's a lamp.
I could have used that a little while ago.
Serves him right for doing CAC portal before South of Link's house portal.
There you go.
And P-Train, meanwhile, is probably just going to take the Smith on a bit of a world tour and wind up in Hype Cave that way.
Gonna go for the digging game first, of course, because the digging game proprietor does not like you to bring your friends. It's like,
No
look,
frogs
you only get one person to dig here at a time. Having multiple people, that's just cheating.
Yeah, so as Chad is now working through the logic, Ped is also officially dead at this point.
There you go. So, how appropriate that for what appears to be a bit of a Jet seed, we have good old-fashioned Jet on stream.
You love to see it.
Now, I say what appears to be, because there is that, annoying little thing about, the medallion for Turtle Rock, which we don't know where it is.
Indeed. And there's nothing saying that mirror can't be somewhere in Turtle Rock, depending on the key layout.
Wait, couldn't that medallion be on the pedestal, or am I just dumb?
Yeah, that medallion could be on Ped, if it's not Quake.
Yeah, so it's not completely dead. Yeah. Oh, here we go. Jet is doing the fake powder play. I have seen this win someone a race in a very important scenario. So, could happen here. Not today, though.
I mean, think how useful that'll be during Aga 2.
There is that. I know a couple people who are just better at Aga 2 with the bug net.
Well, Gamachu's in this race, so if he does fake powder, he will be very well rewarded.
Nice.
Meanwhile, we do have a prediction in chat, since we were discussing Turtle Rock requirements. Is it going to be Quake, or are we going to need to go medallion hunting?
Mm-hmm. So, I like to remain pretty neutral on these things, but if we do the math here, a priori with no other information about the seed, the odds that the medallion is any one given medallion is of course 1 in 3. So, you would expect the wagers to even out in a 2-to-1 fashion.
Except that we do have the knowledge that we have Quake, so it could be that, the other two medallions are deeply buried in GT even.
Yeah, the fact that you have the Quake medallion does... it doesn't change what the probability was at the beginning of the seed, but it does change what the probability is now. So it will increase it slightly. I don't think it goes all the way to 50. Unless you're one of those people...
I wouldn't say so.
Unless you're one of those people who is like, well, it is or it isn't. And those people are people who don't know how math works.
Well, you know what they say. There are three kinds of people, those who can count and those who can't.
And the... Yep.
But no, watch it happen that it will be Quake for Turtle Rock, and we'll find the other two medallions in GT basement while we're looking for the big key. Calling it now.
Very well could happen. I like that one. There are two kinds of people. Those who can extrapolate from incomplete data sets. Anyway.
So one thing to note, it's unlikely we'll be seeing Pyramid Fairy because we are currently locked out of Desert.
Oh, that's a whole thing we missed, isn't it? I mean, once you get the mirror, then that's a logic
and also,
too.
we can't finish Skull Woods either without the mirror because that requires the fire rod. So, and there's Jet's second crystal right at the 40-minute mark.
Seems good. Unfortunately, it does look like that one item that was left in there was not particularly useful. My favorite one is there are 10 types of people. Those who understand binary, those who don't, and those who didn't realize that this was a joke that was in ternary.
I think I've even heard that one before. So our runners may have a high five here in pod, with Jet going back to finish it off. And so Jet's definitely ahead of P-Train in terms of locations cleared, but P-Train has those mitts, which could wind up being big later on.
Mm-hmm.
Depends on when Jet checks Bumper Ledge and then goes Independent Thieves.
So at this point, I'm kind of feeling like the mirror is going to end up either in the mire area or up on Death Mountain, in a place where you'd rather have the mirror to go to begin with.
Yeah, what'll be unfortunate, we'll probably see Mire relatively soon. What'll be unfortunate is if Mire's Quake.
Yeah, because you don't really want to be tempted to go clear out a pendant dungeon when you don't have to. Alright, so Jet is back into pod as well, and we'll be able to finish it out. Shouldn't have much trouble killing the turtles in the, in the light of day.
Well, given how late the mirror's taking to show up, the fact that we don't have mail upgrades is working out kind of nicely with Death Warps.
That is true. I often say that green mail sucks, but for this one particular purpose, it does not. P-Train racking up the hearts there, and then setting up. P-Train, what are you doing?
What are you doing? Force of habit? Or maybe he just really wants to push that switch down as hard as possible to make sure there's no way it's going to pop up?
Some people can't resist the sexy statue, that's what I'm saying. Anyway. Alright, so Jet went ahead and used a blue potion because he's kind of using some damage boost to get in to the gem here and use his hammer on Helmasaur. And
then just gives up and uses arrows.
Yep.
Arrows were how I always did it as a kid.
Okay, so P-Train dealing with the turtles, accidentally flipping one back over, but you know, sometimes you just gotta flip turtles. Don't know why. Alright, so it looks like Jet is going back to the mountain, or perhaps just gonna flute away from the mountain.
Yeah, might he be going back to Village of Outcasts?
Looks like it.
So the interesting question is, what will P-Train do next?
Oh, P-Train's got those hammer shots on lock. Look at that.
Wow.
That was beautiful.
But if he saves and quits, do we think he'll maybe do King's Tomb as a one-off check that's pretty easy? Might he flute to 6 and check the mire area?
Who knows?
Or could he do an out-of-logic Ice Palace? There's no reason Mira can't be in there.
So, I don't know. I don't think Jet has even looked at Bumper Ledge.
He has not.
But I imagine that will be one of his first priorities once he gets out of Thieves Town with the cape. But it might distract. Since he doesn't know about it, he might end up going to the back of Thieves Town.
Oh, and P-Train is going to give us... this is a bit risky as he takes a flying leap into the void. This is a bit risky because we know we're going to have to go back into Hookshot Cave with the mirror to get the ice rod. So if you don't find the mirror in these 6 checks...
Yeah, he's basically just banking on that happening, really. There's also just a chance that you could get into Turtle Rock and do a couple things, which is why I imagine he's going this way.
Yeah, at least you get the portal open. Well, I'm guessing once Jet gets the cape here, he will check Bumper Ledge. Oh, and it's Ether.
Okay, Ether Medallion it is, so we are not yet in the clear.
So Ped is alive for all that.
It's going to be right here. Okay, maybe not. We're just waiting for it to be under the mat like it tends to be.
Oh, and Jet is going to the back of Thieves, so we'll see if P-Train abandoned anything back here.
That's the unfortunate, or potentially fortunate, thing that comes of having not looked at Bumper Ledge yet. Because you know if he'd looked at Bumper Ledge, he's going to get those mitts. We got a Master Sword. Certainly not going to be opposed to that if I'm P-Train, and Bombos. So Mirror and Ice Palace, anybody?
Well, we're going to have a full coin collection by the time this is all done. Oh, and P-Train is even going to do Spike Cave while he's up here. That is certainly in logic with the cape.
It absolutely is. It's been a hot minute since I've seen... Oh, flippers!
Oh! P-Train had better hope Swamp Palace doesn't have anything in it. I guess the only thing it could have is Ether.
Yeah, or thing leading to ether, but we all know what we mean by that.
I mean, we could also be talking about Sahasrara.
All right, P-Train has acquired Bombos and that sword. He's going for King's Tomb here. Just 10 arrows there. Did we didn't get Graveyard Ledge from it, did we?
We don't have mirror.
Right. Why do I keep doing dumbs?
Because you think Mitts and mirror are equivalent. You only need one, right?
I have an advanced degree, and I'm an idiot.
I feel the same way most of the time.
All right, so P-Train is going to go finish off Eastern.
Hey, there's half magic on Lake Hylia Island. Probably not going to see that.
Yeah, I certainly wouldn't be opposed to picking it up, but unfortunately, the mirror is going to mean that we're most of the way ready here. All right, Hobo time. Just an additional bottle, kind of what he normally gives you in the game, though this time it did come with a little bit of extra stuff.
Well, we have no shortage of safeties here. I mean, powder would be nice, and we're probably not going to pick up half magic, but 4 bottles and both invincibility items?
Seems good.
So another, very slight time saver there by P-Train. He positioned himself just above center for that Igor so that he could fire the arrow into it and dash right into picking up the key as it bounced.
Very nice. There's ether in the waterfall, so that's kind of a big deal. It does also mean that P-Train could basically skip out on those flippers, unless the mirror is no. There's nowhere you can't get other than what we just saw from Jet, depending on how your equipment is.
Yeah, P-Train just will need to think to do a water walk over there. And with Ice Palace in our future and stuff, I could see him doing that.
Yeah.
Oh, and Jet still never checked Bumper Ledge, did he?
He sure did.
The flippers took him to the flipper checks.
Yep, he got distracted, and he is heading for Spike Cave, looks like.
As a one-off.
Mm-hmm.
Is it just me, or did those 3 guards on P-Train's side kind of turn gold for a while? I'm not sure I've ever seen that odd glitch where they just were gold, and then as he did the screen transition, they turned back to their normal green.
All right, P-Train heading for the Mire area here.
Thank you to Wolflink, our tracker, by the way, shout-outs to him for doing all this wonderful tracking work. For pointing out that this pallet glitch just kind of happens.
And Mire is also ether, it looks like, so still, P-Train will not be able to get into there yet.
Yeah, I guess the 2 questions are, where is that hecking mirror, and is P-Train gonna do some... Oh, is he gonna do the Back of Thieves now? Because I can't think what else he'd be doing.
It looks like that's the case, so it's a little unfortunate for him. But it will at least lead him toward the flipper checks. Alright, so Jet is now heading for Bumper Ledge, so that's going to be good for him, for sure. Though perhaps a little frustrating.
No, P-Train's doing the Smith check as a one-off.
Oh.
I mean, there's nothing saying Mirror isn't in purple chest, and I've seen it there. It is probably the rudest placement for Mirror, but hey, if you want to gamble that, more power to you, right?
P-Train, what mirror are you going to use there?
I mean, if Mirrors on Smith are in purple chest, this could pay off big for P-Train.
I mean, you can definitely do the Smith chain. It's just really slow.
Okay, so now his hope is that it's on purple chest, but let's see what he's going to do next. Yeah, he's going to go for purple chest, or maybe Back of Thieves, I don't know.
Yeah. I think purple chest is the only one of these we haven't seen. I think Jet already did. No, what am I talking about?
And look where Jet is.
Yeah. Of course Jet didn't already do that. I guess my brain is thinking that the Smith check already happened because that's what it was in the last seed I did. Anyway. Why am I bad brain? Because bad brain. Bad brain. Purple chest mirror is always a obnoxious location.
Yeah, so now Jet has access to TR, which means depending on key layout, we could have a mirror deep in TR.
Yep. From the get-go, there's only the one chest, but again, if you've got keys all the way down, then you can get quite far. So yeah, P-Train's going to start seeing a whole lot of 20s now. Right now, I think the 20s that he's seeing are the full hearts and some other things.
Yeah, he's gotten a lot of full hearts. There are 7 total, as Jet picks one up.
And
16
one of them
pieces
is
of heart.
One of the full hearts is specifically the Sank heart, which I know he picked up. It was in Super Bunny Cave. So alright, so P-Train in Ice Palace.
I didn't think about this, but Jet can't do Ice Palace yet until he goes up Death Mountain and gets that Bombos, because we still don't know where the mirror is.
Mm-hmm. So there's a very good chance that he ends up checking part of Turtle Rock as part of that trip. So, you know, I think Jet's got to feel like real behind here, because he's kind of, once he found the mitts, he's kind of taking the most obscure checks he can do, rather than the really dense checks like, you know, Death Mountain. That sort of thing.
And from our standpoint, I really don't know who's ahead. Like, P-Train's advantage at the moment is Bombos and being able to do Ice Palace. Jet's advantage is Ether and being able to get into Mire and Turtle Rock.
All right, P-Train with a very nice icebreaker. For those of you who haven't seen that yet, that's a heck of a thing.
Is Jet gonna do Mire, Pendant Mire?
It is entirely possible. He's got that Ether Medallion. And who knows, the mirror could definitely be inside there, so... I mean, I would probably risk it if I were Jet.
He's doing it.
Alright, B-Train.
Was that 3 items already, and he's
don't
just rushing
think
Cold
so.
Stare?
No, he's... First of all, he didn't flip the switch, so he'd have to come over here.
Oh, I guess the big
doesn't
key,
have the big
big
key.
key is an iced tea room.
Yeah, I think there's like maybe one more item. My count is a little bad. I think I saw a bunch of keys. Though he is heading directly back, so I could be talking out of my rear end.
Well, he could go right over to big chest from here because of which way the switch is.
Oh, right, yeah, you can do that. I forgot that brain do brain things.
Well, and there's that nice hookshot clip, but that's the small key, so Cold Stare's got our last item. Oh, and I didn't even think about that those 2 rooms are on the same super tile, so the Freezor is already out and about.
Yeah, that's kind of gross. Yeah, I didn't really ever learn that much about super tiles until I started playing the door rando. My goodness.
Yeah, then you really have to know super tiles.
Alright, P-Train on to Cold Stare with a Master Sword. Jet is in Misery Mire with a Fighter Sword, which is awful.
And you were saying keys all the way down. That's about what Jet's been finding in Misery Mire so far. And a compass in the compass chest.
Like
perhaps
you do.
Perhaps even a graceful one.
That you do. P-Train doing a very interesting little technique there with the sword. You hold out the sword and fire the hammer. That's going to increase the hammer's hitbox to the length of the sword. And the hammer's hitbox is, as they say, jank and a half. So it definitely improves your reach there. Cold Stare just has 20 rupees, so P-Train will not be finding the mirror here today.
And P-Train running out of locations.
Yeah, very possible now that Jet is on the right track for that mirror.
Well, there was one item in Mire, and it was just a 50 rupee pull.
And I do believe that was the first, so we've still got one more to find. P-Train is going to flute away, so he is going to go for flipper checks. So he's going to get that ether medallion. He is going to have to fake flipper here.
Now, he knows the medallion requirements for both Mire and Turtle Rock, so it'll be interesting to see if he then takes ether into Turtle Rock.
Yeah, it would be a bit of a play.
He also never did finish Eastern, and he knows that Armos Knights has an item.
Yeah, I guess you're right. For some reason I thought he did, but I guess I'm misremembering.
Yeah, he did pod, but he doesn't have the mirror, so he's never really had a good... I mean, he could flute to 5 anytime he wants, but he's never gone back there.
P-Train doing the reverse fake flipper from Hobo. That's a trick that's, you just got to line yourself up right. It's the important part is lining yourself up vertically correct to make that.
Yeah, it's harder than it looks. The first time I tried it, I wound up saving and quitting because I just couldn't get it, but you figure it out eventually.
What you definitely don't want to do is get yourself lined up and then dash. Because if you do that, you will transition before you hit the water, and then you will be stuck.
So Jet is gonna open Turtle Rock here.
So it looks like P-Train had done Eastern Palace.
Oh, Tracker was just behind? Okay.
That's all right.
Yeah. The tracker app here is kind of wonky. Sometimes it eats inputs.
Yeah, and that and tracking is hard. And I say again, tracking is hard, which is why I don't do it. I have a hard enough time not being a dumb all the time when I'm talking. Anyway.
But yes, we're now at a point where our 3 remaining crystals are all locked by the mirror as best we know. We could turn up the book, which would give us desert access, but that would be really rude if, the seed put the book in Turtle Rock, and then we had to get the mirror out of desert that way.
Okay, so P-Train did go to Mountain Cave, but he decided to float away, which means he's gonna waste time in
Oof.
Mire, it looks like.
I mean, it could be on Vitreous. Jet did nope out.
Did he not find both items?
Unless I miscounted.
I mean, I stopped paying attention, so...
I don't recall seeing an item other than the green 50.
Alright, so Jet electing to leave Mire without killing Vitreous, but again, if all you have is a fighter sword, I say no. Okay, so Jet walks into Turtle Rock, finds a key, and that opens up the next part. If this next chest is a key, and the following chest is a big key, then we have access to basically all the way to Laser Bridge, which would be interesting.
Interesting is one way to put it.
Yeah. Tragic, awful, vomit-inducing. That's another way to say it. Oh, but there we go. Jet
Locked
is
out.
Locked out. So, I mean, does that mean it's Vidi? I can't think of anything else.
Yeah, I was just about to say the same thing. It is like, what else do we have access to? We still don't have the mirror, which is actually kind of thankful. Mirror go mode. Looks like Jet's going to be doing ice now. Makes sense.
In before it's like book on Vidi.
Yeah, P-Train, of course, doesn't know it's not in the back of Thieves Town. That's probably nagging him a bit.
Yeah, if he finds the mirror on Vitreous, which would be sick, he's probably going to be like, oh, okay, so it's probably the flippers in Thieves Town, and I'm not going to do that.
Well, I don't see what else we could have at this point. I feel like it's got to be either mirror or something locking mirror on Vidi, and the only thing at this point that could be locking it is the book.
Unless my brain, which has fairly, to be fair, been kind of unreliable tonight, is forgetting something. I can't think of anything else that our runners have not seen. Agina's Cave has been checked. That was checked very early by P-Train. And I think Jet might have checked it too.
And regarding Jet's next question, the bat was the swagnet. P-Train not going to bother with the rail clip there.
Yeah, it's a little finicky.
Yeah, I've seen runners waste more time at it than they would have spent just going around.
So, will P-Train go for Vitreous, or will we have another bail on our hands here? It looks like we are going the distance. We are going for speed.
Let's start a quick prediction. Will it be the mirror or the book? Because I can't possibly see anything else it would be. We're certainly not going to see Spooky Action Glitch because we don't have any rods.
There is that. My goodness. This is a heck of a seed, y'all. Heck of a seed. Now, at least if P-Train wants to make things easy for Vitreous, he can make use of cape strats. I mean, there's definitely, the traditional damage boost strats as well, which I imagine you'll start with, but if things go south, cape is there. And by things, I mean eyeballs, because they tend to move south.
Jet definitely having a bit better luck with his Ice Palace routing than P-Train had. Got the big key first and was able to just circle around to left side after that.
Alright, P-Train getting the cape out and is just gonna go for it. This is kind of my favorite strat. You just sit here and spam the sword. Not even gonna lie.
As long as you're slashing, it doesn't use magic.
Yeah. So you'll see the magic drain just ever so slightly occasionally, just because, you can't always be slashing, but you can certainly try. Because the slash lasts for a full 15 frames, and during all 15 of those frames, the magic does not drain. There is the mirror. Interesting. P-Train gets the item and has the what do we call it? The presence of mind. That's the word I'm looking for, to immediately save and quit, so he doesn't have to worry about grabbing that pendant.
Honestly, though,
I mean, the magic refill would have been nice, but eh.
But given where he was, I would have just mirrored and done desert. I would have grabbed it for the refill, and then mirrored and done desert, so I didn't have to flute back to desert later.
Yeah, I guess that is a reasonable idea. He's gonna have to come up here for the fire rod anyway, and he's just gonna flute out now. Yeah, I think he's doing that so that he'll have the fire rod for desert, because I guess Landmo is way better with fire rod, and also you need it for Skull Woods too, so you got to go up there twice anyway.
Now the question is, what's Jet gonna do? Does he have anything besides Vitreous at this point? Oh, he hasn't done King's Tomb.
Yep. I think this will be the last run before heading to Vitreous as well. So much for this being a jet seed. I cursed it the moment I said it, didn't I? Isn't that what happened?
Yeah. I mean, hey, we didn't have to enter Swamp. It's not Oops All Dungeons.
There is that. Any day you don't have to do Swamp is a good day. I mean, I know there are some people who like doing Swamp, and you're entitled to that opinion, but it is unquestionably fairly slow to get done, especially if you're going to full clear it.
Jen had never even checked Lumberjack.
Yeah, well, there was that possibility. And, oh, where are we going now?
Did he not do Purple Chest?
Yeah, I guess that's probably it. Alright, so P-Train will be heading to the boss of Desert Palace, the Land Molas, which of course are pretty weak to that fire rod. Which makes sense why he went and grabbed that before hitting here. Especially given the lack of third sword. Oh yeah, that's another thing. You definitely won't be seeing Butter Sword in this setting.
But we'd sure like to see Tempered. Oh, and P-Train runs out of magic there.
Yeah. I mean, at that point, you only had enough to do it if you did it perfectly. P-Train finding more green 20s. The green 20s, of course, replacing the items that are not in the pool thanks to it being hard. And Jet has not done a Gina's Cave. He's doing it now.
I think he's running out of stuff that isn't Vitreous to do, though.
All right, looks like P-Train's going to fill up on some potions here. Going to get some green.
Green's an interesting choice considering he has more money than he knows what to do with.
There is that. We are in hard mode, and we can always run into some issues. So I don't fault him for trying to save some money here. Going for Skullwoods like you do.
Oh, Jet never did Ice Rod. All these checks that he skipped earlier, and it looked like they paid off, now it's coming back to bite him simply because he skipped Vitreous.
Yeah. Well, I mean, do you want to do Vitreous with Fighter Sword? I don't.
That's fair. That is fair.
Yeah. Luckily, Jet now has the Master Sword, so when he finally has to head back, which it looks like he's doing, he will be able to do it.
But really, isn't that what bombs and arrows are for?
Yeah. I believe, due to some programming issues, it is still possible to buy arrow upgrades in this. And so that's the sort of thing I might be interested in doing if I had to come here with a fighter sword.
So P-Train will be winding up a full 2 crystals ahead of Jet because it's going to be a bit for Jet to get all the way to the back here.
Yep. So after this, P-Train will be able to head over to Turtle Rock. And before he goes into Turtle Rock, he'll want to grab that Ice Rod. And I imagine if I were P-Train, I would want to, check a few chests in Turtle Rock, whatever's on the way in hopes of grabbing a third sword. But it's very, very possible that it could be Ganon's Tower before you get the third sword, so you never know. I like how Jet is doing all the motions to set up for Spooky, even though it's literally impossible. So like he lifted the rock from the bottom. He kicked up some dust before he dropped the block there.
Habits die hard.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we're seeing about a 7-minute difference between these two runners. Jet will save a tiny amount of time in TR just because he's already opened 2 chests there. But P-Train got the mirror at, I believe, 1:10:09, and here we already are at 1:17.
All right, so let's see what strategy Jet elects to employ here for Vitreous. Looks like he's going to go for the traditional damage boost spin strat up to a point. I imagine there's a point where he'll stop doing that. So, so the damage boost, yeah, damage boost. It's called that because the goo around Vitreous there deals exactly 1 heart of damage no matter what mail you're on. Whereas the eyeballs there will deal 2, I think, which is not a great place to be.
And Jet does grab the pendant, which makes me think he's probably just going to mirror into Desert. Though, as you pointed out, with P-Train, that means he won't have the advantage of Fire Rod.
Mm-hmm. All right, so P-Train will now be heading through Hookshot Cave to grab the ice rod, and then be finishing off with a trip through Turtle Rock. So where do we think we might find a third sword?
Statistically speaking, it's likely in GT Basement if the big key isn't in an early check.
Yeah, there you go.
Unless they're like 2 swords in Swamp.
Yeah. So, question for you: if you're on Master Sword, still going up Ganon's Tower, how many chests do you open?
Probably all 4.
I agree. I'm not sure if these runners would do it though, because some of them are good.
Yeah, but just no matter how good you are, the difference between Master Sword Silverless and Tempered Silverless is so big that you will get your time back in spades if one of them does give you the Tempered.
Yeah, but I thought if it was in spades, it would need to be the shovel.
Fine, you'll get it back in hearts.
Okay, but we're out of those anyway.
And of course, there's Laser Bridge, which, depending on the key layout, we may be forced to check. Likely be forced to check.
All right, so there's that second key that we didn't find earlier. It does look like that means that the big key is going to be in its vanilla location today.
Which means that we are very likely going to have to do Laser Bridge unless somehow the big chest and the crystal roller chest both give us small keys.
Yep. Now, when the big key is in the big chest or in the big key chest, it does make it slightly more risky to skip the big chest, which a lot of runners like to do in this scenario. Because if, it's in that big chest and the crystal roller room, the 2 keys, then you're going to have to go back for it.
I mean, even if it's in the big chest and not the crystal roller room, you're going to have to go back from the crystal roller room, which isn't fun. So I don't think they skip the big chest.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I was thinking of something else. You probably wouldn't skip the big chest in the scenario. I don't know what I was thinking.
I mean, you might really feel lucky, but it hardly seems worth it.
And there we go. Jet is on his way up the mountain to grab the fire rod. He may also go for the ice rod while he's up here. Though he may do what P-Train did and just grab the fire rod and bail.
So this was a logically required 3 mountain climb, and we're seeing 4 mountain climbs out of the runners.
That's a lot of mountain climbs. Yep, there's that big small key in the big chest. So will we have to check Laser Bridge? That is the question here.
Seems likely. There's an 80% chance.
All right, P-Train finds the map. We'll be going to Laser Bridge. Now, we don't know how much of it we'll have to check, but I think, personally, if I'm down there and I'm on Tempered Sword, and I was going to go there anyway, I'm probably just checking all 4. I mean, if I'm not on Tempered Sword.
Yeah, I just thought of an interesting prediction, but we'll wait to see what happens on Laser Bridge first.
Is it something like sword or big key first?
Yeah, exactly. You know, something to run in parallel with the. Oh no!
What book?
Do you check Ether tablet?
Ooh, good question. That is a real. Oh, never mind.
Okay, not doing that prediction. We're good.
Yeah. So the key was found, and if you bailed from there, you missed out. Let me tell you. As the very next chest was that tempered sword, and this is as good as the fighting equipment for Ganon is going to get. So get used to it for this particular mode. P-Train going for backdoor strats and performing quite well here. Going to get the one cycle Trinix, which is as good as you can do on Tempered Sword. It is possible to zero cycle with the backdoor strats on Gold Sword, but again, we're not going to see Gold Sword in this tournament.
So we're also not going to see the formal Ganon's Tower Big Key guessing game, since there are 115 more runners doing this off screen and one of them might have found it by now, but you can always put a number in chat from 1 to 22, or you can spend channel points guessing simply will it be in the first 11 checks or after that.
Alrighty. Alright, P-Train entering Ganon's Tower. And so begins the climb. We've got one last little search for an item, and then we will be going directly to the top through the most execution-heavy portion of the game. We have a small key on the torch with P-Train going left immediately.
So I would say rip Bob, but I think you're still here with me in the booth,
I'm
right?
pretty sure I am. For those of you who don't know, Bob is this anti-fairy that is caused by some glitches, graphical glitches later on, and predates my involvement with the randomizer quite a bit. So it was named Bob before I even got here.
But we found the big key in check number 4, so going left was the way to go. And speaking
Absolutely.
of 4, P-Train has 4 small keys, so he's sure not going to have to worry about fighting mini Helmas.
Mm-hmm. All right, so P-Train just going to get this thing taken care of as soon as possible. Very nicely done, Mimics Rooms.
And congrats to Shindig Pig in chat.
Bob is the best off by one error in history. I love it because that's clearly what happened. Just a pointer reference was done a little bit wrong.
Yeah, it messed with my mind when I first learned that that is specific to Rando and it is not in the vanilla game.
Yeah, well, the thing with the vanilla game is you can't really get there without getting the key off the torch. I don't think, anyway. Maybe you can. I don't know.
You do. You don't get the key off the torch in the vanilla game.
Really? Okay. I'm making that up. Fair enough.
It's been a long week.
But also it has to do with those super tiles we were talking about, because the Bob sprite is on the same super tile as that torch. I know they're real far apart in terms of how long it takes to get there, but yes, they are sort of diagonally adjacent to each other. And so they share the same memory space.
So now the question on Jet's side is, will he do all of Laser Bridge and find his Tempered Sword?
And that's why in if you play Randomizer, sometimes you'll see Bob-looking glitches in the right side, like the cane block room instead, because different sprites will be taking up that table. P-Train did not do Mimic Cave, no.
So this is where I'm wondering about P-Train's decision to get green goo instead of blue goo, because he doesn't have powder. He has no good way to refill his life, and on green mail, a single Ganon hug would be a KO.
Yeah, I'm not convinced he spent the blue potion he bought earlier, but don't hold me to it.
That could be. And he does have the cape, so he could certainly use that to good effect in the first couple of phases.
All right, P-Train not messing around with chess at all. And P-Train entering the Aga 2 fight at 1 hour 30 minutes or entering at like 1:29:59. Going to start this thing, and you know, I'm pretty much always happy with a time around 1:30 or so. But
yeah, should be finishing at 1:33-ish, I'd guess.
Yeah. But you know, some of the items greatly eluded our runners here, especially
And
that mirror.
Jet did get his Tempered Sword, fortunately, so he's not. Oh, splits his Samaria block too quickly.
All right, P-Train entering the Ganon fight. Ideally about a like 3.5 minute fight, I think, on Tempered Sword Silverless.
And Ganon thinks he's in Zelda 2 today.
Yeah, somebody ought to let him know. Looks like P-Train could get the 1-in-1 cycle here, but he's backing away because the fire. Well, he got a weird teleport, let me tell you. He is, however, getting into the corner here, which is the best place to be, because that trident will not hit you. It looks like it will. It's not going to.
Now he just needs to avoid this row of fire, and he should be good.
Excellent. Now you still do have to be, you know, careful not to slip up in the final section, but you know, someone as practiced at Silverless as P-Train, I don't think that's going to be a problem. Hey, Ganon, I don't think this is SMZ3. Just saying.
And P-Train plays it safe and uses the lamp for the torch glitch to make sure he can conserve magic. For those of you who might be new here, if you can light the first torch before the second torch goes out, the second torch will never go out.
So P-Train is setting up some very precise timing on this torch lighting. If you light the torch roughly as Ganon reaches his destination, you can potentially get 3 spins in per cycle. And this is going to be a perfect 3 spin cycles here for P-Train as he finishes it off. Well done to P-Train.
And Jet is now in chat breaking kayfabe. Just a reminder, this was all broadcast at a 10-minute delay. But GG P-Train.
And P-Train finished this race with an official time of 1 hour 33 minutes and 7 seconds, which was good for 11th place in this race. Very, very well done to P-Train. Congratulations. And I think we might have been joined by said P-Train here in chat. How's it going? Congratulations.
Appreciate it.
I guess take us through that seed from your perspective, because there was a lot going on.
Yeah, hookshot on library kind of made me chuckle. And then once Swamp ended up being a pendant, I'm like, man, if Boots end up being in GT, I'm like never gonna hear the end of this. So luckily that ended up not being the case. I got a little greedy with the mushroom. I'm a sucker for a Sphere 1 fetch quest. So when I got mushroom at Sahasrara, I was like, yeah, let's go do it, right? Ended up being junk, and at that point I'm like, well, I might as well do the mountain because I gotta go the long way around to Easter Palace anyways.
Right.
Ended up last locationing the boots, which didn't feel great, but as long as you get them before Dark World, it's not that bad, you know? So then I get into Dark World, and I realize I'm like, oh man, I can clear Thieves Town. Well, I get into the Dark World, and Thieves Town is a pendant. And from the last tournament, I had a series of 3 against Jet in the quarterfinals, I believe it was. Maybe the semis. I don't remember how. No, I made it top 8. So it would have been the semifinals, I guess. No.
Quarters, semis is top 4.
Quarterfinals. But both races were decided by Skull Woods, and one race Jet checked it and I didn't, and that ended up being the play. And then in the last race, checking Skull Woods had both the Ice Rod and the boots, which I 100% last location. So this seed, I was like, oh, I'm checking Skull Woods.
Yeah, and what particularly worked out for you was that you grabbed a key before dropping down the hole where you found the bow, because Jet unfortunately had to save and quit out because he didn't grab the key beforehand, and so he took quite a while to find those Titansmiths, whereas you then, immediately went over to Bumper Wedge.
Like, I used to do that all the time, but it turns out there's like a 10% chance or something like that you're going to be locked out of the rest. You're going to be soft locked. I actually like dropping right into the hole, but I got burned twice, and after that point I was like, no. Finding the bow in Skull Woods was really weird. I knew at that moment that I wasn't going to check the back of Thieves. I just wasn't going to do it. But for me, what was really awkward in that route was trying to figure out what to do with Pyramid Ledge and Catfish. Pyramid Ledge isn't that bad with boots, so I went ahead and checked that on the way to Pod, but I don't know. Like, I'm trying to think of a way to route Catfish in this seed that isn't like the most conservative play ever. And Catfish just felt way too conservative, even for a qualifier seed. It just felt way too slow when you can full clear Pod. I was certain I was going to find Mirror in Pod, and depending on the Turtle Rock medallion, Mirror could very well be sword mode. So I just had to go to Pod at that point. The seed was just moving too fast. And at that point, it was just trying to figure out, do I want to most likely hunt down the flippers, or do I want to gamble on, what progression I can find and hope that Mirror's behind it? And I found Ether, gambled on Meyer, and that ended up paying off.
Yeah, we thought that it was going to be quite a quick seed early on because we were, a couple of items from potentially no mode there, but then that Mirror just decided to take its sweet time showing up. Man.
I mean, honestly though, as long as I get boots early in the game, I don't mind like super drawn out seeds. And honestly, seeds like this, they're a bit more forgiving for those that didn't find the God route. So that's good too. Anytime you get you start seeing like 118 finish times. If you're not in GT by the time those people are finishing, you're gonna have a bad time. Which I did want to ask, did my stream cut out at any point?
I don't think so.
Seemed fine to me.
So, fun fact, my power blipped for like half a second the moment I entered the red Stalfos room in GT.
Yikes.
I have no idea how I at least didn't lose the SNES. But my computer, everything. Also, I don't know if y'all have this thing where, like, when you have Discord open on your computer, some of your notifications don't go to your phone, but when you shut down your computer, your phone starts lighting up with all the Discord notifications you got. That started happening. I was like, oh my gosh, did I lose internet? Like, what is going on? Like, how did my game just not crash? I was like, the entire GT, I was just freaking out. I didn't even know if I was going to be able to dot done. I was like, is the race room even working right now? Then I saw Hitsu finish. I was like, okay, I'm at least getting like some kind of communication between the website. Man, GT Climb was nuts for me because I was freaking out about my internet. I'm in Alabama. We just had a whole bunch of storms tear through the state. And,
Oh, yeah.
I was worried that they were doing work.
Yeah, I heard you had tornadoes yesterday and everything.
Yeah, it was pretty brutal. Luckily, everyone I know that I'm familiar with, we're all safe. But yeah, as far as the state is concerned, it ended up being pretty rough.
Well, we're glad you're safe. We're glad your power held out.
Me too.
And Jet's now on phase 4 in the replay, though obviously he's been taking questions in chat for the last few minutes. But we'll bring him here in the booth as well once he finishes on screen. Yeah, and P-Train, I was just kind of eyeing the finishes, figuring out part-time. I think you got about a 96 today, so that's a pretty nice score to have from a qual.
I don't know. It's always a challenge figuring out how aggressive you want to route the qualifiers. At least until you get to that 5th one. This one I played like about as conservative as I could. Skipping Catfish and the back of Thieves Town was the only skip I really made, if you can even call it that. But man, that mirror.
In case you were wondering, that is where the flippers were.
Yeah, back of Thieves Town?
Yeah.
Yeah, the attic. And get your GGs in for Jet here as he finishes on stream.
And so Jet, unfortunately, did actually last location the mirror. And despite having already gone into Misery Mire, clearing it out except for the boss because he went in without a Master Sword. Speaking of which, here he is, Jet 082.
GG. You win this one, P-Train.
I think this might actually be the first time I've ever beat you in a competitive arena.
And you know what? I was listening to your interview, and you can blame Skullwoods, because I completely, my brain, like, died for a moment, because I've been doing, like, a lot of multi-worlds and stuff like that, and I haven't been practicing too much. So my brain's like, yeah, just drop down, you're fine in Skullwoods. And then as I'm falling, I'm like, no, you need to go get a key just in case. And I'm like, I'll be fine. I was not fine.
Nope.
That is when the problems began. But I'm like, let's just follow this bow into the ground and hope maybe it'll lead to something good, and it'll make up for the fact that I didn't get to explore everything else in like the Village of Outcasts area. Yep.
Now, you mentioned multi-world mode. I think I was in NMG mode for quite a few moments. I dropped a Samaria block.
Oh, did you like that Moon Pearl? It was a good Moon Pearl.
Oh, yeah, it was nice. I dropped a Samaria block in pod and still tried to push the statue.
Yeah, we were wondering.
Yes, we had a chuckle.
And I also tried to take the Smith, despite the fact saying, like, okay, mirror for go mode, you know, as I'm walking the Smith up to go mirror in front of the Smith. So,
yeah, I just wanted to sort of recapture what I lost, and it's just a shame. If I had done Skullwoods properly, I would have seen the mitts. I probably would have done the first half of Thieves, because you do that, and then you would have gotten Cape and gotten mitts. Like, that would have been different. So I was in Mire, because I felt way behind. Like, I knew I was behind. And I'm like, yeah, I had a choice after getting mitts. I'm like, Death Mountain's good, it has 6 items, but who's going to go into Mire? I'm going to go into Mire and skip Death Mountain, which technically was the correct play, but you had to beat Vidi to get, Mirror. And I didn't want to do Fighter Sword Vidi it's a pain. It's slow, and I'm
It's
like,
the worst.
I can do it, and I think I had like 10 or so hearts, so it's like it wouldn't have been that bad. It just would have been slow, and I'm like, I could check this one item, or I can go get 6 items of Death Mountain plus whatever the heck else I skipped, and that's what I did, which was a mistake. I should have just my play was Mire, and I should have stuck with it.
Yeah,
and in retrospect, if I had done Dark Death Mountain first to get a sword, I would have been fine doing Mire. Like, Master Sword viddies, no problem.
Yeah, I basically had, in logic, I had the back of Thieves Town, which I believe only had the flippers, right? Like, it was only one item left.
There were two items, but it was like rupees and flippers.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, well, I miscounted those. But in my mind, I had one item in the back of Thieves Town, and I had Catfish and Zora. So I opted to go into Fake Flipper and Ice Palace. After that, I was like, well, let's rather than Thieves Town or Catfish without the mirror, let's just Fake Flipper into the Zora area. And I found Ether, and at that point, I was just like, screw the flippers. I'm just going to trust that the flippers were needed to get Ether, and let's just go that route. And to be honest, after full clearing Ice, I already kind of felt like, I'm not going to do well here. Like, this is just going badly. Then finding the mirror on Vitreous, I felt a little better, and getting tempered on Laser Bridge felt really good. I think I picked up a green potion before heading up to Turtle Rock.
We kind of wanted to ask about your. Kind of wanted to ask about your decision to purchase the green and not like a blue or something, because you had like $1 million at that point.
Well, I knew I wasn't getting silvers. I knew that Half Magic was on Hylia Island, so I'm not getting that. So in the case that I end up with only the Master Sword in the Ganon fight, I wanted to be able to just go crazy with spins and the cape and just not have to worry about it. Which, granted, that was probably relatively conservative, because at that point I'd full cleared most of the world. I mean, you still had Swamp on the table. Swamp had a lot of locations. I didn't know if I would, maybe you get to skip Laser Bridge. You don't know that. So there's a potential, big key on Torch. You're not climbing through GT.
Also, of course, good call to both of you to go ahead and check that other chest after grabbing the final key there in Turtle Rock.
And then that's the thing. If you're there for the key and you still only have Master Sword, you might as well check all the chests.
And it had to be an item.
I feel bad for rubbing it in, because I see some people in chat, they're like, oh, that's where it was, and I'm sorry, guys, but...
It had to be an item. You already had the map and the compass, so there's not really a reason to skip.
I don't know if we actually announced this, but Jet's official time was 1 hour, 40 minutes, and 36 seconds, which was good for 39th in the race out of 130 something. So yeah, still pretty stinking good.
And probably maps to about a score of 88 in our qualifier scaled scores from 0 to 100, which is still well within the range of times that are expected to qualify.
Yeah, still very well done there, Jet. Especially given the way the seed kind of jerked you around.
Yeah, I knew it wasn't gonna go well once everything happened related to pod and I started last locationing mirror. Yeah, I'm like, my goal usually in any of these, but qualifiers especially, like, I just want to get to Ganon's tower before the first dot done. Like, then I feel decent about the seed. Like, if I can get to Ganon's tower before the dot done, that means you're within 10 minutes. That's not too bad. Unless it's like a crazy fast seed, and then within 10 minutes is not good enough. But usually when they're about 130-ish, within 10 minutes isn't too bad.
And speaking of which, since we haven't officially announced it, the winning time was 128 even by Hitsuyan. So GG's to him. So not too far off of 130, really.
Mm-hmm.
I think it started like a fast seed, and then it sort of bogged down in the middle. I mean, sticking mirror on the boss of a pendant dungeon, it's gonna slow things down.
Yeah. Especially on the boss of a pendant dungeon that you kind of like to have the mirror before you head to that area anyway.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So yeah, the whole vitreous mirror thing, and of course, you're forced to go there with a maximum of Master Sword, so that can't feel terribly great. And of course, yeah, Fighter Sword Vidi, I wouldn't have done it.
Can we talk about my appreciation for both rods being visible on the mountain?
That was pretty good times.
This whole scene was like, look, don't touch. Like, you see the fire rod, but you can't get it. You see the ice rod, but can't get it. See the mitts and half magic, but you can't get either of them.
See the hook shot? Oh my gosh, everything. Like, I bet you wish you could pick this up, but...
It's a bunch of window shopping.
At least the hook shot came out soon. You guys were staring at those rods for a long
Surprisingly.
time with all your climbs of Death Mountain there.
Also, can we just appreciate the wonderfulness that was the boots in the chest that you'd like to have the hook shot to get to the hook shot?
That was good. That was good. Yeah, I'm surprised. Usually when I see something in the library, I'm like, all right, I'm basically gonna be... That's my go mode item right there. Like, every time. Every time. Not this time.
All right, so it does sound like we are pretty close to being done with the space here, because we have another match trying to come in and use this channel. So I think we need to wrap it up pretty soon. Once again, I want to thank our two runners, Jet and P-Train, for putting on an excellent show, and I want to thank our tracker, Wolflink0370, and my co-commentator, Drossi, for helping put on a great show today. Thanks everybody for watching so much.
Yeah, it was. Thanks, Dr. Bob. It was great working with you. It's been quite a while. And just to put in a plug, if you liked what you saw here today, qualifier race number 5 is tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern. With the 10-minute delay, we'll be starting the broadcast here at 2:10 p.m. Eastern. And it'll be on SpeedGaming 3 as well as in Spanish on SpeedGaming Español. So be sure to tune into one of those.
All right, so if there's nothing else from our runners, I think we need to wrap it up here. So I'll just say that I've been Dr. Bobtastic, and I will see you all at a later occasion. Thank you, everybody.
And have a great night.